Why are happy, positive thinking men so attractive to women? Nothing's ever gonna work. Everyone is a problem. It's all going downhill from here anyway. You know nothing about nothing. Don't care. Whatever. Because the alternative, that guy, drains the life out of you. Now imagine if that was a woman you were dating. You'd wonder what she put in your drink. Being positive doesn't mean that you have a permanent smile plastered on your face. So let's get that out of the way. What's attractive is inner happiness and self-confidence. Those that exude this inner brightness are intoxicating to be around. Negativity, on the other hand, is exhausting. Why do you think people escape the monotony? By traveling, watching movies, playing video games, engaging in sports, going to bars, or attending events. It's so that they can feel good and forget about whatever stresses and pain that they're going through. Plus, they enjoy it. So if someone they encounter is very negative, that adds to the stress that the individuals are already feeling. However, if they meet a person radiating with happiness and light, they can't help but be drawn to that person. The only people who like miserable people are miserable people themselves, which is why misery loves company. Humans have a tendency to seek out confirmation of what they think in order to validate what they feel. Meaning, positive people will surround themselves with other positive people and listen to positive affirmations so as to remain in the constant state of positivity. Negative people do the same by surrounding themselves with other negative people and listening to negative confirmations, thereby remaining in their constant state of negativity. I was sent a video by a guy friend of mine of a group of men talking about women and dating and how, statistically speaking, relationships always fail because women will eventually leave. And if you don't mentally prepare yourself, then you're living in a fantasy world. Imagine if people in business thought like that. We're going to open up a business. It'd be great for community, but statistically speaking, new businesses always fail. So our business is going to fail. And if we don't mentally prepare ourselves for it, we're living in a fantasy world. Humans are fascinating beings. They disguise their fear of being hurt by expecting the worst in the hopes of lessening the pain. As if being clairvoyant would help any. Oh, I knew it! I knew she would leave me! This type of expectation becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because they do eventually abandon and leave those men. And the pain, it doesn't get lessened. If only people knew that a person leaves because they're always expected to leave. A person's mind will come to a point where they say, fine, if you don't believe in me or in us working out, then there's no point in staying. Yes, there was trauma, and yes, the past was painful, but you can't let the past and your trauma put you in your prison. When you tell children and adults they'll never amount to anything, ultimately they'll start to believe what you believe. But even if you don't say anything, but your very being and actions scream that the relationship will fail, that kind of energy is pretty potent. Gordon Treadgold, a transformational leadership specialist, once said, if you expect failure, you're putting yourself in a position to fail. You are abdicating any accountability, and the most likely outcome is failure. Well, I'm just being real. It's statistics. You can be real all you want, and then observe how real it gets when people are trying to find ways of getting away from you. Statistically speaking, positive people with inner joy don't necessarily avoid hardships or suffering, but they do think differently. It's okay. Tomorrow will be a better day. They don't live in perpetual victimhood. They don't blame their circumstances or their past or others for their misery. And they continue to work toward a brighter future. And they know that in order to genuinely love someone, they genuinely have to love themselves first. You can tell a person by the amount of love or hate they have for themselves based on the way they treat others and their outlook on life. Consider this awe-inspiring man from Australia named Nick Vujicic, who was born with no arms and no legs. He plays golf, he swims, he dives, he drives a boat, and has accomplished more than any average person. He didn't let his limitations stop him from doing anything. He could have easily been a depressed and miserable person considering his circumstances. And yet, he's got joy, and it's contagious. And you just want to be around someone like him. And you can tell how much he loves himself, life, and others. And that is exactly what makes him incredibly sexy. So much so that he attracted his beautiful wife, Kanae, to him. You know what makes happy, confident people so attractive? They discover a lot of things they love about themselves. From a human behavioral point of view, people desire what other people love. It's the law of social proof, a psychological phenomenon in which people are influenced to wanting a product, person, or service based on how others are desiring them. That's why social proof starts with you. Because if you don't love yourself, why should others? You may say, I love myself. I love myself so much, I think everybody's horrible. If you spew hate, complain all the time, think that the whole world is against you and that you're the perpetual victim, you don't love yourself, because a person who truly loves themselves is too busy enjoying life to have any time to consider what is wrong with it. You are your best asset. There is so much greatness in you. So enjoy you, love you, and people will naturally follow.